Your Nana's dying.
She doesn't know, so you can't say anything. The family thinks it's better not to tell her.
Why is that better? Chinese people have a saying, when people get cancer, they die.
We'll have to go to China.
Wedding is an excuse so everyone can see her.
He's my only cousin. Don't you think I should be there?
You can't hide your emotions. If you go, Nana will find out right away.
Billy 呀，咋啦？咋不说话呢？今天人多齐呀，好久没这么聚了，奶奶就等着这一天呐。哎，大口咬，哇，哈哈哈哈！
你觉得我们应该告诉奶奶吗？
太痛苦了吧？
如果她想说再见呢？
你告诉她就毁了她美好的心情，你说对吧？
搭到她的肩膀上，那时候我都怀疑我以后在她那。
Aloha! This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And again, this is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, and this is my second movie review for this week of the movie that opened up this weekend, only unfortunately at the Kahala Mall, but hopefully, you know, since it has a lot of buzz and it stars Awkwafina, who is a phenom nowadays, it will get a wider release, hopefully, within the next week or 2 weeks, hopefully at least getting over to Dole. So without further ado, this is my review of the Awkwafina starring movie, The Farewell. And remember our rating scale, shock a thumbs up, it's good to see, I recommend it. Shock a thumbs down, it's bad to see, it's junk. And for Awkwafina's first starring role movie, it is a strong shock a thumbs up. Now, I had first heard about this movie, there was a lot of buzz about it over at one of the film festivals. And I was kind of sort of on the lookout for it. I'd heard that it had opened up maybe 2 weeks ago over on the mainland and was really hoping that it would make its way out here to Hawaii, which this last weekend it has. But again, like I said, only over at the Kahala Mall where they do all those artsy movies. Again, it is a strong shock a thumbs up. Now, this is being touted as a comedy drama, but it's very much more a drama with some funny parts in it. I wouldn't call it a comedy at all. I mean, if you are familiar with Awkwafina's work from Crazy Rich Asians, from her rapping, her YouTube videos, her music videos, from her you know, hosting gig on Saturday Night Live, which was amazing. Even Ocean's 8, where she kind of broke out as being a great movie star, but especially, you know, stealing the show in Crazy Rich Asians from Constant Wu and the gang over there. It is no wonder that the MCU, Marvel themselves, has picked her up for a starring role in the upcoming Shang-Chi, you know, Master of the Martial Arts movie. Sometime in Phase 4, possibly Phase 5. I think Phase 4 they announced Shang-Chi would happen and she would be starring in it. Possibly maybe a sister to Shang-Chi. Maybe as a love interest slash co-worker, as in the comics he had always kind of worked and had sort of a relationship with a Asian female who also worked, I think, with the British intelligence. So that might be her role there. It's still yet undefined. But I'm talking to you today about The Farewell. This is her first starring role in a movie. And for those not familiar with it, basically it is Awkwafina playing the role of a daughter to a family to a Chinese family whose parents had moved to America along with her at an early age, leaving the majority of their family there in China, in Asia. Some had moved to Japan, but pretty much many had branched out, looking for better, more opportunities, greater education, etc. But their grandparents remaining there in China. At that early age, just after moving to America, her grandfather, fell ill and died. And we meet her as a young woman, struggling on her own, trying to get into college, continuing her schooling, with her parents there in America as she tries to fight for her, her own life there and her own position in life. And still yet make her parents proud, of course. And we find out that her grandmother back in China has been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and, by all accounts from the doctors, will most likely be passing away within the next few months. Under the guise of her cousin's wedding, the family decides to fly back to China, celebrate, but basically be with their grandmother, her parents' mother, her father's mother, to, kind of mourn her passing to be, and also spend time with her, all without telling her, and the rest of the family from throughout Asia comes to visit her there. Some do have still lived in China, so it's easier for them. But under the guise of her cousin's wedding, they all come together to celebrate this wedding and mourn, the last few months of her grandmother's, life before she dies from cancer, stage 4 cancer, which the doctors have said there's nothing that they can do for them. But unbeknown to the grandmother, the family, the close relatives taking her to the doctors who have found this information out have not decided to tell her, thus not letting her worry about the final few days of her life, just to enjoy the moment and, enjoy the celebration of this wedding to take place. And the, getting together of the family once again. This is something that, Asian communities can relate to. Here in Hawaii, we can definitely relate to it. Having big extended families here on the islands, many of, our family living together within the same, living together in the same area, on the same island, maybe sometimes the other islands as well, but predominantly, definitely living nearby, sometimes even out of the same house, out of the same apartment for many multiple generations. Thus, it's not uncommon to, have your grandmother there, to have your aunts and uncles nearby, every days, every weekend, every large, graduations, birthdays, it's a large celebration. And this is not only for the Asian community. There was a movie back, in the early 90s, something about like Mama's House or something like that, talking about where every Sunday, maybe it was called Sunday dinner at Mama's, where she passed away, and every Sunday the family would get together with her, cooking all food and everything like that. So it's not just Asians who have a strong sense of family, although that seems to be the current zeitgeist nowadays to focus on. But that's not all the case. I mean, even in this film, they talk about, in America, family doesn't mean that much to them as it does us Chinese. Well, you know, being from a Hispanic background and having relatives, you know, cousins, aunts, uncles, my mother being Hispanic, thus I'm Hispanic, we have big family celebrations. We had big family celebrations. We would all get together until my grandmother died, you know, and people began to move away and move on with their lives. That's just the way it was. But she was that glue that bound everybody together, and we would always come together, you know, for the family meals, celebrations, things like that. You know, and that's something that really touched my heart in my own life, and thus I can relate to in this movie. Again, you know, having my own mother pass away, although not suddenly, just kind of came out of the blue. So no diagnosed illness, just kind of something that popped up and slowly throughout the hospital stay, you know, carried her away from me. So I don't know, you know. So Awkwafina's character, being the granddaughter, she is torn between wanting to tell her grandmother that she only has such a limited amount of time left, and still wanting desperately to not worry her grandmother, and decides to stick with the, you know, the intentions and the interests of the family to not tell her and just try to enjoy the time remaining with her grandmother, along with the rest of the family. And you see the impact throughout the movie that has on her, has on the entirety of the family, along with her own father, you know, the son of the grandmother. You know, and the difficulty it is to try to keep this information, you know, a secret. Awkwafina does really well. You feel her sadness. This is the most range in any of her acting to date that she has done. And because it is something that's very personal to her, those who have followed her on Instagram, watched her YouTube channel and videos from time to time, will see, you know, heard in interviews, she is very close to her own grandmother. I think, you know, don't quote me, but I think her mother had passed away, or one of her family members had passed away at an early age, and her grandmother basically helped to raise her, and she's very close to her grandmother, and who is, of course, up there in age. And so this could very well, you know, have been for her something that she has to face eventually, possibly, you know, well, not possibly, but will face eventually one day. And maybe this film, this role for her, gives her an opportunity to address and feel some of these emotions that she will in the future in real life, and that she has probably had with other family members and close friends already throughout her life. So yes, I can't say enough about this movie. If you really, you know, if you've really enjoyed Awkwafina's performance in Crazy Rich Asians, in Ocean's 8, in anything that she has done, if you've even followed her music or her comedy, you can kind of feel that she's that genuine, you know, 100% real person. Even though her fame has kind of erupted suddenly, she still seems somewhat down to earth and relatable to everyone, and not so glammed up by her fame and fortune so far, that, you know, we can, you know, as an audience member, maybe as a fan, can feel her pain, feel her emotions, you know, throughout, resonating through this movie. And again, she does an excellent job in this performance, working a role that very well could have been wrote for her specifically. It's amazing. And, you know, the family dynamics, probably not since the Joy Luck Club had you felt something, you know, I mean, so real in family dynamics and emotions from, you know, a non-traditional white USA American family, you know, but not different, not alien to us, because we're all humans and we all have those kind of feelings and those emotions with our family members, with those that we love, you know, and we can see that it's, you know, that it's the same, that at the end of the day we're all people, and we all love our families, and, you know, we wish we could do whatever we can and could do for them, despite unbearable circumstances, which Awkwafina's character finds herself in, which her family finds herself in, as they try to come to grips and deal with this terrible illness that is racking, you know, her grandmother, without her knowledge that it is happening. Possibly throughout the movie, she begins to suspect, you know, certain things, but that's never made clear to us. But, you know, she's, you know, obviously a very intelligent, older woman. So, you know, whatever speculation, you know, she might have towards her own illness, towards her own health, is masked from us, so that we only see it and feel it from Awkwafina's side of the house. As any maybe parent or grandparent, you know, not wanting to burden their children with such knowledge, you know, would want to do, to maybe hide it, to use that facade that they're all right, to not worry themselves or the rest of their family, as any caring sibling or parent or family member would want to do. You know, my grandmother, well, one of my grandmothers was very sick for a long time and passed away recently, you know, a few years back. To me, it still feels recently, just a couple of years ago. And we knew her health was failing, and, you know, she knew it as well. So we were just waiting for that time, and I don't know, that didn't make it any easier. You know, and my own mother, like I said, went into the hospital and basically never came home again. I don't know if I would have felt any differently. I don't know if it would have helped me to have known that she was going to pass away when she went into that hospital. I put her in there. She went with every intention of getting better and coming back home. You know, so I don't know if maybe she had some speculation, some concerns beyond myself and what I might have known. I don't know. And I don't know if that would have helped me deal. And again, this movie hits particularly home as, you know, another member of my family had been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, deciding to fight it, and yet not telling many of the people, you know, except those closest to him, that he's dealing with such a burden, not wanting anyone to worry and wanting to be able to fight it to the fullest. So this rings true to me as well. So this has that extra impact. So yes, I would say it's much more of a drama. Definitely a Shaka thumbs up with Awkwafina's The Farewell. I highly recommend it. You can't go wrong with this movie. And today being Tuesday, I saw it for the $7 over at the Kahala Mall. But it is a movie that I would have easily spent $20 for to see, because it is that good. So yes, a strong shock of thumbs up. And when it hits DVD, I'll definitely look for it to purchase it. All right. Thank you so much. This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, saying go see The Farewell with Awkwafina. Give it your support, and you won't be dissatisfied with it. All right. Thank you so much, and aloha.